I hope I find you well. This is your girl again, Primrose, and I welcome you to my YouTube channel at Primy Odyssey, a platform where we always say we embark, discover, and transform together through different adventures as well as stories that we come across day by day. So actually, as you can see, I haven't been taking time recording, but I've been actually transitioning from another country to back to my home country. So there are a lot of things that I was looking at as well as observing, and I ended up seeing that there are a lot of issues that we can actually talk about and help each other on this platform. So for those who haven't yet subscribed or haven't yet looked at my content, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe at Primy Odyssey, as well as on Facebook. I'm there at Primnet Media on Facebook, Instagram, as well as on TikTok. On TikTok, I'm there as Primy Odyssey. So I'm so happy for everyone who is managing to get helped by some of the content that I share, because mostly my content is inspirational based as well as motivational based. That's why you see that sometimes my content is mixed. Today I'll be talking about work, tomorrow I'll be talking about life, tomorrow everything that is centered on our lives I am happy to talk about. Anyways, without further ado, so today, as we are beginning our anonymously journey, our first session that we wanted to look at is the question that has been moving around lately. So the question that I had asked, what do you think most people are secretly dealing with? I believe there was a time that I had a session where I recorded a session on what is the right time for a person to actually ask for help. So I was just giving an overview of things that we think people are stopping people to actually get help. But for this time, we wanted to get into context and actually dig deep into what people are secretly hiding in their day-to-day lives. So a quick recap of what I once spoke about on what is the right time to ask for help before we dig deep into the question as well as the answers that we managed to get from the audience. So these are some of the questions that I was asking myself as I was preparing for the session on what is the right time to ask for help, where I wrote, why do we have many people suffering from depression, anxiety, and living in fear? Because we actually see that most of the times people are actually suffering behind the scenes with depression, anxiety, and also living in fear, but they don't have that person whom they talk to, or they do not have that specific need to look for help. That's why I actually had to ask this question on my last session. And also, why are people suffering from burnout and others committing suicide? It's actually an issue which is rising, especially nowadays in our generation, where we're seeing that a lot of suicide and also different types of crimes are happening nowadays. Is it because people are not asking for help, or there's something more behind that we are actually not reading? And the third question that I wrote here is, are we not finding the right help for the problems that we're facing? Like, I can actually go and ask for help, but at the end of the day, I end up seeing that the type of help that I'm receiving, it might not be aligning to the type of need that I'm facing or the need that I need at that certain moment. So here are some reasons why people are failing to find help at the right time. And also stay tuned as well, because as I'll be finishing up these reasons, I'm also going to talk about some of the answers that I have been given by the audience based on this topic on why do you think most people are not asking for help, and the question being, what do you think most people are secretly dealing with? So you have to stay tuned on this one. Right, so some reasons why people are failing to find help at the right time. Number one, some other issues are difficult to tell someone, leading to fear of judgment. Right. So this is actually a deep one, where we have some situations we face or some challenges that we face on a day-to-day basis. But then you end up seeing that if I tell someone, it might not come out well. Maybe I can say it this way, that there are some issues that you know that if I am to tell someone, yeah, okay, fine, I'll just say it's fear of judgment, but there's some issues that you see that if I tell someone, one, people might overreact, two, or people might take it the wrong way, three, it might not sound good, and even it might not sound human-like. I don't know if I said it well, human-like. Anyways, the second thing, reasons why people are failing to find help at the right time, it's a brief recap. A timid person. We're not talking about a timid person, we're talking about a shy person, a person who is unable to come out or just share what they're facing, right? So sometimes you see that people end up shying away from getting the help they need, and then they end up just bottling each and every emotion or each and every issue they'll be having. And then the third one, pride. People with pride keep things to themselves. because they're afraid of being labeled as weak people or being judged. So that's why you end up seeing that even big people with titles, they end up just keeping things to themselves and not sharing because they have the fear of being judged or being labeled as weak people, right? And also I wrote here ignorance. Some people are actually ignorant. They know that they need help, but they do not want to find ways to get that help they need, or they just end up just ignoring the situation and move on as if things didn't happen or things are just normal, while at least they need help. And then lack of trust. This was the last point I wrote. People find it hard to trust people with their issues and problems and end up keeping things to themselves. We have trust issues, obviously. As people, we always have that thing that tells us that, nah, why should I trust this person to tell them what is happening with me? So we end up just keeping things to ourselves, right? So these are some of the things that I had mentioned from my last recording on when is the right time to ask for help. And these are some of the pointers that I had laid out on. So now, after looking at the pointers that I gave on this session, that's when, as I mentioned, I ended up looking deeply at this question, trying to find out what the audience will say about it. So here's a quick rundown of some of the answers that I got. So the question was, what do you think most people are secretly dealing with? So if you have something that you want to share, please feel free to drop in the comment section, as well as not forgetting to like, share, and subscribe so that we can also learn together and also our community to grow, right? So the first answer that I received here is money. Someone said that money is the issue. We are dealing with that problem privately or personally, where we say that we don't have enough money to actually cover our needs, our basic needs and wants. And I believe that since things are not well economically, a lot of people are dealing with that situation whereby some people go to work, but they end up seeing that the amount of money or the salary or wages they're receiving is insufficient to actually cover all things that need to be covered. So you end up seeing that even when people are now staying together or people in a home, people don't have peace of mind because each and everything they look at in the house or wherever they're going, it speaks of money. And those are expenses, liabilities, and things that it's a lot. And a lot of people are actually dealing with that situation. And another answer that I received here is depression. Yeah, this one is so common nowadays. You know, when I look at depression, it's something that I never thought existed, especially if you see the way we grew up or in our African society. Most people don't actually believe in depression or having any mental health issue. But I think nowadays, with the way things are and the type of world we're now living in, depression is now common. And how are people getting to know that depression is real? We're now seeing a lot of cases of suicide now rising, and cases of drug abuse that are now rising. And, you know, a lot of things are now rising, and people are now noticing that depression is real and it's something that people need to take a look at. So this is something that I'm seeing a lot of people are talking about, because apart from the person who just replied depression, someone replied depression, be it at work, in marriages, relationships, families, friendships, school, right? And then the person goes on to say, even at church, people are silently suffering because of fear of judgment. I think I even once mentioned about the fear of judgment, where people, when someone actually says that if I'm to say out my problem, what are people going to say? And also the fact that they'll be saying, I cannot share this type of problem because I think it's too big or it's too heavy, right? And then there's this answer that came up, trying so hard to live up to expectations of loved ones, like literally just trying to become someone loved ones look up to, and now because it gets so hard that they end up losing themselves in the journey. So this one, I found it so touching. You know that these days people are trying so hard to actually live up to people's expectations, especially those people whom you're close to, because you know that nowadays a lot of responsibilities are coming up, and no matter the age or whatever or occupation, we always have responsibility. And as a child to a parent, or a parent to some kids or children, you always have that sense of responsibility. So you end up seeing that in that process or in that time, you end up seeing that you develop that sense of not being enough, because you're trying so hard to cover up, you're trying so hard to be responsible for people whom you're taking care of, and then you end up not feeling free. Yeah, I had this conversation with someone mentioning that sometimes inside you not feel free because you'll be feeling like you have a lot of things that you want to be responsible of, and then end up losing yourself in the process. So that's why you see most of the time people just end up checking out of life, even the way they'll be responding, or they'll just cut themselves out socially. I've seen that, and I've once lived that you'll be trying to be responsible, and you're trying so hard to do this and this and that, trying projects, trying work, everything, so that you can make ends meet, so that also you try to live up to the people whom you're providing for, or people who are looking up to you. In the process, you end up losing yourself, definitely. Socially, I ended up losing a lot of friends. Personally, I ended up losing a lot of friends because the time I should have been socializing or being out there, I was now taking up that time or using that time to fill up a certain need, or take up a certain responsibility, or take up a certain role, and I ended up losing myself in the process. So a lot of people, you can see that we have what I want to call, we have a lot of dead living people. I don't know if I can say it that way, where we actually see someone, they look lively because they're alive, but inside they're just dead. They don't have anything. They don't have a sense of identity. They only have roles, responsibilities, and things they want to look up to or up for, and they end up just being people. So that's what people are secretly dealing with, but they are not able to voice these things out because they have that fear of judgment, and some are too proud to just actually say that I think I've reached a point where I'm tired, right? And then someone said, honestly, financial problems. Money is not enough. I'm telling you, and honestly, it is stressful. Yeah, someone had to say it again, like, money is not enough at all. And I actually enjoyed this response. I think it's based on money. Kupiwa maziki chaipo. You know, I think they're trying to say that kupiwa mari. Yeah, no, not of course wapiwa, but no, right? So it's another thing. It's another issue that's stressing people out. It's also stressing me out, but at some point you'll be like, there's nothing I can do about it. So, so another answer that I received here is drugs, mostly. Okay, so people are secretly dealing with the issue of drugs, right? On this one, I actually came to realize that we might think of drugs like cocaine, mbanje, or bronco, and all the common ones we always hear of, the illegal ones. But I've ended up noticing that people are actually using drugs without them knowing. I actually heard someone say that bleaching cosmetics is now becoming a drug. Two, because they are secretly dealing with pressure and also trying to fit in. So people will be trying by all means to actually come up with ways they can actually fit in to what they want to fit in. I don't know if I put it the right way. And also another issue, drugs like we have, like for an example, painkillers, where every time a person says that they have a headache, and the only way they know how to cure that headache is by using painkillers. So you end up seeing that as much as the container writes on not drinking up to 10 maximum in a certain period of time, that person ends up continuously taking them, even if they don't feel like they're having a headache, or if they think they have a headache, they end up taking those pills so that they can actually calm the headache down. It's actually becoming a drug to most people. So this is another issue that has to be raised. Like, if one is saying they're having a headache, how best can you actually help that person before they actually make use of medication? Because medication is now becoming a drug. Right, so I also have this response. This one is actually deep, and I'm hoping that we're also going to share what we think about this in the comment section. Right, someone wrote, a mother's wound, especially if you are the firstborn daughter. The mother I have is not the mother my sibling has. Right, this one is quite touching. As much as it is touching, I'm also trying to understand where the person is coming from. Is it the issue from the mother, or is the firstborn daughter stuff? Because it feels mixed. Okay, fine, let me repeat the question again. A mother's wound, especially if you are the firstborn daughter. The mother I have is not the mother my sibling has. So let's drop in what we think about this response on what do you think most people are secretly dealing with on this answer that I've been given. It's actually an eye-opener on some of the things that we have to look at, especially family relations. So I'm believing that this girl is saying maybe she has a sense of responsibility, and as a firstborn daughter, she feels for her mother, but it seems as if the mother is not seeing the effort. Or I hope you get where I'm trying to go with this answer for sure. But I hope that you're going to help me answer this in the comment section. So these are some of the responses that I got from the question, what do you think most people are secretly dealing with? So to actually open up the conversation, please let's drop in some of the answers from the question raised, what do you think most people are secretly dealing with, or actually adding up to some of the issues that have been answered to here, especially some of the ones that I've written. And also, if you see that you have another answer that you want to add on, please don't be afraid to drop it in the comment section, and we can actually make use of your answer to help someone out there. Because I believe that there's some issues that people are not opening up to, and this is actually the time where we have to actually open up so that everyone can get the help they need. So I'm actually happy that we are actually having such conversations so that we can actually teach people or actually make people understand that, of course, we have a lot of issues that we are facing, and you are not the only one that is facing that issue or that problem. So we have to actually come together and come up with solutions so that each and every one of us can get the help that they need. So this is the session that we had on anonymously session, and next week we're actually going to have more anonymously questions being sent, and also from the audience, you guys, you will be helping to give answers to. So I thank you so much for joining me on this session, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and also invite a lot of people to listen to this video so that they won't miss out on the next. So this is your girl Primrose, and I'm signing out. Thank you.